Hello, 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 and welcome to today's episode of Her Version. This podcast is dedicated to sharing stories of struggle to triumph, a platform that allows individuals to tell their truth in order to inspire and uplift others. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria. Let's jump right in. Hello, and thank you for joining today for this episode of Her Version. We're jamming over here.
I love that. That is
Her
Version.
The Her Version platform is built on storytelling and the understanding that many times our greatest learning experiences come from listening to other people's stories. Today, I am speaking with an amazing woman named Angie Harvey. From a stutterer to a public speaker, from a bullied fat girl to a self-confident woman, from a depressed young adult to an emotionally healthy and stable one, and from a grown woman to a woman on the grow. Angie Harvey. Ooh, that gave me the chills. Angie Harvey does so well taking the journey with others because she has traveled the journey herself. As she continues her own personal growth journey, she has been inspired to be open to being the guide for others who have a desire to create the greatness they desire and deserve. She is one of the most down-to-earth, tell it like it is, engaging and passionate speakers you'll ever grow with. Welcome, Angie. How are you?
Yes, I am doing amazing. I'm feeling productive. I'm feeling humbled. I'm feeling honored, and I'm feeling excited.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I so appreciate you joining us and taking some of your time today to share some of your story, your journey, your inspirational nuggets in order to add to the Her Version growth, the journey, the mission that we're on here, to get our voices heard and to get our stories into the ears of individuals that need to hear it, because we both know there's a lot out there.
Yes. That's for sure and for certain. I love it.
Yes. So I kind of want to start with let's just jump right in. And let's talk about some stuff. I'd like to know, what has been your greatest challenge, and what did you learn from that challenge?
Right. I see you are a woman after my own heart. I tell my clients, I said, we're going to jump right in the deep end.
Yeah.
I cannot promise you that you won't get water in your nose, but I can promise you won't drown.
I love it.
And so we just jump right into 10 feet, and I'm cool with that. Definitely, without a doubt, my biggest challenge has been the recognizing and reconciling and now actively recovering from codependency. It was something that literally hit me like a ton of bricks in the beginning of 2021. I am a therapist. I'm a journey guide. I'm a growthologist. I'm all these things to a whole lot of people. And I was not aware that I was codependent. But it made so much sense. I can remember being in the bathroom of a friend's home and just having this pain in the pit of my stomach. I'm on my knees just praying, just take this away. Not knowing how much control I had in it being there and how much control I had to be able to give myself some relief. And so that is an ongoing challenge, because it made me have to, oh my goodness, scan my entire life and all of the things, oh my goodness, just so many things that happened as a direct result of it. If I had the opportunity and the chance, I would absolutely petition to get codependency as a diagnosable disorder.
Wow.
I believe it's that powerful.
Wow. So was codependency in your vocabulary? Did you know about it?
I knew of it. Oh my goodness. Yes. I got clients. I mean, I'm a drug and alcohol counselor. You know, addiction and codependency go hand in hand. Of course I knew about it. I refer people to CODA. I mean, all of those things. Never once, I think I think the word dependence made me take me out of it. I'm like, I'm not dependent on anyone. So I thought. And then when I came to this realization, I realized that my entire life, I was dependent upon somebody. I thought I was leading. I thought I was taking charge, but in essence, I was following behind lovers and my mother and jobs and kids and my family, and literally Pied Piper, and I was not in the front.
Right. So what was the turning point? You said you were in the bathroom.
Oh, I just had a breakup in 2019, and I just could not believe. I'm like, am I that addicted to pain that I'm missing something in someone that was not good for me, that did not bring me pleasure, that did not bring me joy, that did not, all of those things. Like, why would you be in so much pain from the absence of such a thing? That's like, missing cancer. Like, who does that? Like, oh, I want to go, and I'm like, something has got to be wrong with this. And then somebody kind of casually mentioned it. I literally thought to myself, let me look at it. And so the first time I went through the list of about 36 behaviors, I could see 4, then I could see 12, and then I could see 24. It was mind-boggling, but here was the great thing. I thought to myself, at least I know I can fix this.
Yeah.
Like I can give myself some relief in this. CODA was mine, and we were in a pandemic, but I went to virtual meetings probably 6-7 times a day. I was
wow.
Oh yeah. It was the only thing I had to look forward to. It was the first time I had been alone as an adult. I'd never been single in my adult life. And so it was something. My sister was actively transitioning. She had cancer. It wasn't a good time for anything, but it gave me the revelation to know that this can be fixed. And I did it. I went in head first, and you best believe every nugget, boulder, mountain I could grab hold to, your girl was holding on to it.
I love it. I love it. Jody has a question for you. She's asking, how did you process this hard information and be able to move forward in a positive way?
Honey, when you know there is light at the end of the tunnel, it's not a train to run you over. That is the positive in it. So I didn't mind trekking that journey. I'm a firm believer that, there's nothing wrong with going to the valley of life. In fact, I go like you go down the sliding board, whee! Because it is that lessons. The lessons are in the valley. They're almost always in the valley. But those lessons are so necessary to live at the mountaintop. And so I knew that I had to get what I needed because I knew where I was trekking back up to. The other thing is I have a calling on my life. I am put here to educate, empower, and encourage and expose and entertain other periods. Nobody else can do the job I've been assigned to do. So I couldn't just die. And believe me, I wanted to. I would never take my life, but I absolutely prayed to God that it's okay if I don't wake up. Like I'm cool with it. I got this thing that I put I literally wrote my own obituary. I put everything in a row. So if in fact I didn't wake up, I would be good to go. God got jokes. He didn't take me. I'm still here. But the process was just that. I was like, okay, then I know I can do something about it. Like anything, you got a bill due, but you get paid on Friday. So you don't worry about it because you get paid on Friday. Yeah. I had codependency. I knew it was curable. I knew I could recover from it because I've been with clients who have. So I knew there was, and honey, I will work. If I can advocate for other people, I definitely can advocate for myself. Now, was it a journey? Yes, because I discovered things I never, ever, ever knew in real time. Like literally how I have trained people to treat me the way that they treat me. It's okay that you don't say please or thank you. It's okay. I mean, I was the genie in the bottle. You only had to make the illusion that you wanted something, and I made it happen.
Yes.
Yes. That's the other thing I did. So not to be so resentful, I wholeheartedly accepted that I did not know what was going on with me. I didn't know that I had been groomed and manufactured by family members and things of that nature to be such a way. And I allowed people to do this thing. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't going around validating other people and not validating myself. My truth, what was my truth? My truth was whatever your truth was. And I remember being one of those people who said, oh, making other people happy is what makes me happy. Well, that's a bunch of BS today. Today, we're not rolling in that way. But I was able to process that because I knew there was hope that I could recover and that the pain could subside. Did it take a minute? Yes, because there was lots of revelation, but I knew it could come. Yeah. And I knew I was deserving of that, at least.
I think the coolest thing about your story is the fact that you're so open about the time in which you discovered it. Because a lot of times once we hit a certain age, it's kind of like, I don't have time for that. Like, I'm just going to stay where I'm at and I'm just going to take this till the end because there isn't time to be learning this new stuff or to start making changes or tweaks because we're getting to the end. I just love how you really embraced that, like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
I came to this realization when I came to this realization, and we're still tweaking and we're still pivoting.
Absolutely. I tell people all the time, there is no end to growing. Anything that isn't growing is dead. And so I'm still looking forward to getting my 20-year plaque. That's the, 20 years being with somebody. But right now I am absolutely enjoying learning and loving and just celebrating me. I have things happen every day that I'm able to celebrate, where before I was looking for somebody else to do that thing for me or to validate me and to affirm me and to acknowledge me and to accept me. And I can do all of those things on my own these days. And that's an amazing thing for me. And I'm 50, it was 54. I was 54 years old when I discovered I was codependent. I just turned 56 this year, and life could not be better. You're talking about freedom from bondage. And I will never, ever, ever, I committed to myself, my only resolution, which it wasn't a resolution, it was a commitment. I will never let me down again.
I love that.
Not ever.
Absolutely love that, for sure.
I am my own responsibility.
When you were speaking, you were talking about how the lessons are in the valley.
Yes.
Can you expand on that a little bit more? Because I love that.
Absolutely. Well, when we go to these places, when we go to those dark places, the places that are uncomfortable, the places that make us feel sad and mad and depressed and all those things. And the first thing we do is just to hope and wish and pray to get out of it. Well, I believe that when you're down there and you don't extract the lesson, you're coming back. So in my head, I want to get all the lessons I can in the valley. So for that reason, I don't have to come back there. I don't have to go looking for that. I might have missed one last time. I might want to pick that up, but my prayer is never to hurry up out of it. It's to let me get what I need to get from here so that I don't have to come back here for this reason.
Absolutely. Love that.
Yes. So extract the lessons, because if you don't extract the lessons, you will be back.
Extract the lessons
in the valley, because they are needed for the mountaintop. Those things that we learn in that valley, those lessons, those nuggets, those aha moments, the self-awareness, all those things, if you don't get those things while you need them in the valley, things that you're supposed to do at the mountaintop, you can't do. Which is
I just love that visual. I'm definitely of the same mindset as far as you're always learning. I'm always looking for the lesson, what I'm learning. What am I learning? Even in the darkest of darkest, with an abusive ex, as a single mom, having no money, financial issues, I'm always like, what am I learning right now?
Right.
But just being able to visualize that valley, I think, is so much more powerful, because when you think of a valley, you kind of think of it being like damp and dark and kind of dingy, and that is what it is. It feels like, oh, get me out of this.
Right.
But if you can kind of visualize it as almost like a treasure hunt, like we're in the dark, we're in the dampness, but like we're looking for something.
Exactly. And literally, as I see it, as I visualize it, I see those lessons as being big sunflowers. And I'm just going down this place. Now they're big sunflowers. They're towering above me, but I get to go and pick those things up and be able to say, this is what I need. I believe everything happens for a reason. And I think our biggest struggle is when I use the sliding board as an example. If you've ever been down the sliding board and tried not to get down, and you would put your hands to the side and like hold on. And I think that's what that gives us more depression, more everything, because we don't want to go down there. So we hold on to the sliding board, and then when we get down there, we're just angry that we're there. So we're just angry and we're sad and we're all of these things. When you go, wee, I'm going down to the valley. Let me go see what I forgot last time. Let me pick my stuff. And it just makes all the difference in the world. Your depression is lighter. Your sadness is lighter. Your resentment is lighter. If you look for the things that you did versus what somebody else did, or what you could do different versus what somebody, because I can't control anybody else. Lord knows I've tried for decades. It doesn't work, but I can control me and how I feel about things. And I believe that's really the only way to be able to even discourage a bully or a hater or someone that doesn't acknowledge you, is to be able to stand in yourself and know who you are. The rest of the stuff goes by the wayside and you don't give it a second thought. Unstoppable is what you are.
I love it. Jody says she's making a t-shirt with that valley.
Come on now. Tell Jody to send me one. Absolutely. And can't you just see, you just in one of those sunflower fields with everything towering above, and you don't quite know what's there, but you do know about this mountaintop. You do know that it's a trek up there, and you do know that you're going to need some things. And those things are what you're going to. So that's the way you think about it. I'm going to the valley to get what I need for the mountaintop.
Absolutely.
Like, who doesn't want to go to the grocery store to get what they need to make some cookies?
Yes.
Bam.
Yes.
That's
100. It. So during this journey, even before this, you popped into self-development. How did you wind up in the self-development world? What happened?
Well, I think what had happened was really and truly, I believe it was a calling, because I stutter. I was not someone that wanted to get in front of people and speak, but I absolutely knew. I mean, I've been obedient without my permission almost. Like, how did you get yourself into this? Well, you said that we could do it. Well, I didn't say we could do it. And it just kind of rose from there. I just celebrated 20 years as a growthologist. I teach grown folks how to grow up. And it has been the most rewarding thing. Even as I look back and know that there were times I was helping people when I needed to help myself. There were times I was in relationship with people that should have been clients and not partners. So I got all of these lessons and things that were happening during the time, but it never failed that my connection with the country, with the world, with my clients, with people, is what kept me alive. And I shared with you guys earlier that if I didn't know that I had a calling in my life, and that there were people literally waiting for me to show up with what I was assigned to do, I would have absolutely probably did more to not be here. But that assignment is so powerful. And so necessary for people like you who show up for people like me. If you hadn't done what you needed to do, then I would be someplace not telling my story. I think those things are important, and in a classic codependent way, you can show up for other people when you can't show up for yourself, and you do it until it works for you. Yeah. And that's what I did. I just did it till it worked for me. And so I got into it by doing workshops, and then I started doing personal growth retreats and boot camps and vision display parties, and currently I've just directed and produced a documentary. Oh my goodness. What? So out of my lane. It's called Black Rainbow Love. It is the truth, the lives, and the stories of Black LGBTQ folks, which is pretty much absent from mainstream America and the media. And I sat down with 28 lovers. They were couples, clergy, community activists, friends, family members, and we talk about everything from mental health to how they got together to spirituality. And I had to look up what a director and producer was. Like, I had no clue. I just know I got up one day, saw a program, and I said, where are our stories? And God was like, you do it. And I'm like, oh, now see, first you got me speaking, and I don't speak well. Now you got me trying to go into this lane. And then I hear in the back of my head what my family and a lot of my partners always instill: who do you think you are? Yep. You think you're better than somebody else. Oh, you're always doing something. You're so extra. But I'm obedient if I'm nothing. I'm obedient if I'm nothing. If it comes to me, I'm growing with it. And I did just that. And I did that in a we've already won 2 awards. And I've only previewed it 3 times. It's not even public. I've been on the phone with HBO already trying to get an initiative. Just all kind of great, amazing stuff. And so it pays to go to the valley, to go to the mountaintop, because definitely the things that I need now, and being secure in who I am.
Yeah.
If I had not stayed for those lessons, if I had just prayed my way around instead of going through it, I grew through it. And you just keep growing and growing. There is no end to growing, for sure.
Jody wants to know the name of it
The
again.
name is Black Rainbow Love, and you can see it on that. I got teasers on YouTube already. There's a IG, there's a Facebook account, and it is, when I tell you changing lives, if I can just intersect, this is not what this is supposed to be about, but I have to say this. I go to a church that is predominantly white, and on any given Sunday, it might be 6 African-American people there. And the pastor definitely comes from a place of believing that, or being raised to believe that gay people, Black people, people of different political things, those people were kind of in a different category. Well, he came and saw the documentary, and I have already met with him in the church leadership. Come on now. Come on now.
Wow.
That girl, the descendant of magic, is ebbing and flowing in places that I had no clue I would ebb and flow in.
No business being in.
No business. If they knew how much I cussed and swore, they would not have me there.
Love
They'd
it.
be like, she for real going to hell. Yes,
awesome.
it's already been amazing. Already changing lives. Already changing lives. It's been amazing. It's been amazing. And so I am very happy that I was obedient and did what I was told to do and was able to, when I tell you powerful stories. We're talking about intentional parenting. And it was all, my cinematographer is a straight Black male. He's blown away by what he's hearing, because this is all new. This is a whole world he's never even ventured into. He was like, you all have children on purpose? Like that didn't even like intention, like you plan? I was like, you do know that that's what we have to do, right? But it's been amazing already. So the journey for this personal growth and self-development started with other people, and I used to separate Angie from Angela. And I did that to pacify other people. I am now all of who I am. I'm no longer going to separate, but I would say that Angie was this bad bee and Angela was the submissive one. And I would say that Angela didn't listen to what Angie had to say. But I do believe what I tell everybody else, and that is, in order to change anything, you have to bring your A game. And your A game is to be aware, to acknowledge, to accept, to take action, and aftercare. You cannot change anything that you're not aware of. If you're not accepting and acknowledge it, you don't believe that it exists. If you're not taking action, it won't do anything different. And you have to know that it's continuous. So the aftercare goes on and on and on. And I live now what I used to preach. I preach, it kind of went backwards, but I got it.
I think that aftercare is so important, especially in the world of coaching, because a lot of times people think they're like, oh, I just need a few sessions and then I'm good for the rest of my life.
Right.
And that the fact that you're highlighting that is so important. It's a continuous.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that because I see a therapist, and just for the record, I wouldn't ever see a therapist that wasn't seeing a therapist. Like I wouldn't sit in front of somebody who wasn't already processing their stuff. I currently have said that I will not date anyone who hasn't begun to unpack their childhood. I'm down to a half of a carry-on, and I am not getting ready to pick up somebody that got 2 check bags. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do it. That is absolutely positively necessary to know that things come up, that people are triggered, things happen again, and that aftercare is what kicks in. Like any recovering program, aftercare is so critical, because you're continually going to be in that space. And I think people need to know. And I tell people, go practice, and then you come back. Go practice what you got in therapy. Go practice what you got in coaching. And then you come back and we process some of that. Otherwise, you'll be back, in full on the couch. For sure.
Definitely. Speaking as far as, individuals, you were talking about the film or the video guy, not quite, this is all new to him.
Right.
When you first meet individuals where this is new to them and they're not quite sure how to process it, and they're all bug-eyed and like, wow, what's going on? For people there can be a lot of kind of stereotypes that kind of go around personal development and what that means. And, there's this whole woke movement, and what is it and what does it look like? And are they loony, or,
Right.
What is your process as far as somebody listening right now? And they're getting what you're saying. They're picking up what you're putting down. It's making sense to them. They're taking a little itty bitty step into personal development. They bought a book, whatever. What would be?
They bought a book. I love that. They bought a book.
They bought a book. That's the first step sometimes.
Right.
What would be your advice as far as what's the first couple of steps that somebody should take when they're, coming into this new curtain of stuff that's never, they could be 30, they could be 50.
Right.
Where should they look? What should they do? What's your advice?
I always mandate that my clients start a dictionary.
A dictionary.
There's some things there's some words that we use that people don't, they don't quite have their own definitions for. So Sabrina says self-care, and somebody thinks about going to have a manicure.
Yeah.
When I say self-care, most of my self-care is free. It looks like sleep. It looks like adequate water. It looks like exercise. It looks like setting boundaries. It looks like saying no. None of those things cost money, but somebody else can use it. So I give people definitions of love, self-love, what self-care looks like, what self-esteem is for them, because they use those generic words, or they use the words that we use. We just kind of throw out there and they don't know. And you'd be surprised that many people can't define it for themselves. So how are you going to obtain something that you can't quite define, or you define by something that you don't quite know? So I just venture for everybody, what does personal growth or self-development mean? And are we speaking about something that has to do with your love life, has to do with your intimacy, has to do with your heartache, your relationship with yourself? And I believe most people aren't connected with themselves, which is the reason the things on the outside of us don't work. I believe joy is what we get on the inside, and happiness is what we can create on the outside. If we don't have it on the inside, a lot of the happiness looks like things and people. But when we have it on the inside, this joy, the happiness we can create all the time. You'll see me whenever I get off the phone, I say, create the day that you desire and deserve. That leaves you responsible, nobody else responsible. So I would say to people to make a definition, make a dictionary of the things that you can think of self-care and what those things look like. But it has to start with you caring enough and respecting yourself. Self-respect, self-love, self-awareness. And people would be surprised that those things, love, respect, and awareness, are not things that they can easily define, and most of us lack. On any given Sunday, we are without the self-love that we want because we're so busy loving other people. Yeah. On any given Sunday, we're upset when someone disrespects us, but we disrespect ourselves all the time.
Yeah.
And then we're blown away by people not being aware, but we sit someplace lacking awareness to the fullest extent of the law. And it's just unfortunate. And so those to me would be some first steps, creating a dictionary that will give you some guidance in what it is that you know, what it is you seek, and what the outcome, almost like a care plan. Here's the problem, here's what I think I'm gonna do about it, and here's the outcome.
So is this their definitions or
their definitions? Because your definition of self-care could equal X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Their definition, and they might need to tweak it. So if their definition is doing pedicures and manicures, then I would want to know from them, how do those things make you feel better about yourself in the inside? Right. Now, what people are banking on is that somebody's going to look at their nails and go, oh, their nails are so pretty. Well, what if nobody says anything about your new pedicure? Yes. What if nobody says anything about their new car? And I have to live that. Because when people think you already got it together, they don't feel like you need that compliment. They don't think you need that acknowledgement. They don't think you need those things. So I have to get dressed for myself. I'm dressed from head to toe every time I'm on the Zoom. I don't do that for you. I do that for me. So when you start to operate in a place where you're doing things for yourself, the other things become extra if you get them, but you're not deficit if you don't. And
you know what? This just hit such a chord for me. Yes. In my early 20s, really early, because I had my baby at 20. So I shouldn't even say at 21. So I shouldn't even say that. I should say 19. Maybe after I lost my baby, maybe this happened again. But yes, to the validation of getting your nails done. I've never gotten my nails done, but getting dressed up, doing my hair, wearing a cute outfit. I remember specifically going to the mall, walking around looking for compliments.
Yes.
Looking for compliments. I
Yes.
wouldn't go like way out of my way. It's not like I would go up and start like flirting with anybody
Right.
to like gain one, but I wouldn't have admitted that at the time. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
didn't know that that's what I was doing.
Exactly.
But I would spend time getting ready. I would have no money. And I am literally just walking around the mall, window shopping,
Right.
looking for compliments. And I could almost say without feeling like a liar that I would not leave the mall until I got at least one or two compliments.
Yes.
And when I got those compliments, I would feel fulfilled and I would be able to leave.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yes. I lost during my breakup. We broke up. I left the house in August of 2019. I lost 65 pounds by December. You know why I lost 65 pounds? Because I had never cooked for just one person. I didn't think I was important enough to cook for.
Really?
I mean, it was like, how do you cook for one person? Like I'd never done. I'm like, how do you do that? So now I make full breakfasts. This morning I had hash browns, eggs, and sausage for myself, nobody else. And I'm learning to do those things for myself. Like literally, I wasn't important enough for me to cook full meals for.
Wow.
Just like them going through the mall looking for a compliment. I absolutely thought, well, that would be crazy to fix dinner for just one person. I mean, I was depressed. Right.
Who's gonna say it's good?
Who's gonna say it's good?
Wow.
Yes.
Girl.
Yes.
I did not even think of that ever until you said that.
Yes.
That is so
and that's real talk
on so many levels.
Yes. The affirmation, the validation, the acknowledgement, and the acceptance of other people will leave you hanging. That's like attaching a noose to the back of somebody's truck and letting them pull off. Because guess what? You're waiting on them to do it. But when you don't have to do that, there's a song that I've been dancing to called Celebrate Myself. Because when this thing got its second award, I felt like, oh, I better not say anything because people are going to think I'm being braggadocious, or they think I'm going to think I'm all that. And so, honey, I just danced around my house. I was like, tell you not a producer and a director, and celebrating myself and getting joy from that.
Yeah.
Getting joy from that and not having to tell anybody else what happened. I told the people that were in it, but I didn't tell anybody. I celebrated me.
Yeah.
I do it well. And I'm learning. It was uncomfortable at first because it didn't seem like it was enough. Well, if it's just you, but aren't I enough? Who am I to try to be enough for somebody else and I can't be enough for myself?
Wow.
Yeah.
Definitely. I know that is one thing, that I have come to realize even more so, even just doing these podcasts.
Yes.
Is the importance of celebration.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Very important. And really celebrating ourselves and the goals that we've accomplished and setting out some time, even if it's a few minutes like that, doing a little dance party.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be an extravagant dinner or anything like that, but just allowing yourself to sit in the celebration of what that means.
Yes. I took a screenshot. I premiered it here in North Carolina, and it was at a movie theater. So I'm sitting in a movie theater watching a movie that I produced and I directed. And so when the screen came up and it said Angie Harvey, writer, director, producer, I'm like, oh my God. Like I took out my phone, and took pictures of it. Like, I can't believe it's this big.
Wow.
It was just something. And I didn't have to call anybody for that.
Yeah.
And that's growth for me. That is absolutely growth for me. Not for anybody else.
Yeah. I want to extend on that. I was talking, my fiance and I talk, I'm always talking big dreams, and my fiance is forced to listen to my big dreams, which he loves and supports. But he was telling me, we were on a long walk. I do 5 miles a day walking. And he goes, when I first met you, I thought you were a little crazy for like how big my dreams are. Like I talk about my stuff that I'm doing, and they're big. It's big stuff that I am working on, and it did feel weird talking about it. And it does feel big sometimes. But what was so interesting is he said, he's like, you know what? I thought you were a little crazy. He's like, but I can see it. Like it's happening. It's growing. It's moving. I can actually visually see this thing growing. And he goes, I actually sat down and I had a thought the other day about how like I didn't understand or get what you were doing or even necessarily believe it. And almost to the point of like, who does she think she is?
Yes, right.
He goes, how does anything happen?
Right.
How does anything get created?
Right.
Somebody sits down and has the audacity to think that they can do it.
That's right.
And they do the steps to make it happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The manifestation of greatness is what we all desire and deserve. And some people still dream in the basement. And I said, the only thing I'm going to the basement to do is to buy some bargain clothes. That's it. But most people don't realize there's a third floor, fourth, but bigger than that, there's a penthouse. Yeah. How dare me not want to get to the penthouse? Yeah. I'm not ever getting ready to stop on the 7th floor because I'm tired or because it seems too hard or it seems too any of those things. No, honey. As long as I know there's a penthouse, that's where the dreams are at.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. So I want to ask,
there's no wrong with being crazy.
So I want to ask about this movie and this screening in the movie theater. When did this become a thing? When did you set out to decide that you were going to do this? What did it look like?
Oh my goodness, set out was not even the word. I literally was being obedient. I did my first interviews in 2019, had the breakup, put it on the shelf. Let me tell you how full circle this was. I ended up falling out with the cinematographer, had to take him to court to get my footage back. The pandemic happens. I'm in Dallas, Texas, sheltering in place alone, put it on the shelf, come back to North Carolina. We sit down, talk, and we both decide, let's give birth to this baby. And we did 17 interviews in 5 days in 2 states. That was at the beginning of March. By the end of May, there was a 42-minute preview that are blowing people away. And it's just a preview. It's not the episodes. We have over 19 hours of content. Literally. So it wasn't, I had Black Rainbow Love on my vision board since 2019, since I woke up and said, where are our stories? Yeah. It came together literally as it came together. So as I did the work, I'm just now putting together a resume for this initiative I'm trying to join with all of my creative. And I'm literally going, okay, I did that. I cast the people. I did the interviews. I came up with the questions. I sought the location. I did all those things that directors and producers do. I didn't know that's what it was. So it's literally, when you dream that big, you do. People like us just get things done. That's one of the things I love about myself. I get things done. If I used to say all the time, people better be glad I don't want to be president. Because if I wanted to be president, I could absolutely do that if I wanted to. Yeah. You put your mind to something. But I think all that comes from a self-confidence. But I had, way before I had the self-confidence, was just the belief and to be obedient to whatever you call it, the universe, the spirit, Allah, whatever it is you want to call it, moved by something higher than yourself. And again, classic codependent, I'm not going to let them down. Yeah. If it was me listening to me, I'd go, oh, well, Angie, you could do that later. Don't worry about it. Nobody's going to do it till then. And it literally happened just like that. And when I tell you, it's working out to be something that has been amazing. And I've never done this before. So for me to go into it, getting an award, and already it has just been, I'm not going to say it surpassed my dreams. I was dreaming in the penthouse. Now I'm on the rooftop. Like, I mean, this is some big stuff happening now.
I love it.
That's fine. I can take it.
I love it. Absolutely. What gets you excited about life?
Oh my God. Breathing, inhale, exhale. I realized that there were days that I didn't want to wake up. And so I'm very happy on those days that I can wake up and to be aware and to be alert and to be okay being single and being okay being alone and being okay being my one and only cheerleader at times. That gets me excited because I know the place I came from. Mm-hmm. I'm excited that little girl who I made carry my big grown butt, this little girl inside of me I made carry my entire weight for all of these years, is finally getting a break because I'm now able to carry myself. That excites me that I can do that, because there was a time that I couldn't get out of bed. I just stopped taking antidepressants just a few months ago. I got a dog, I got a puppy, so I can, funnel my codependency through her, and she actually reciprocates. That's all you can ever ask for. Yeah. But it's been, and in the middle of all of this personal trauma and drama for myself, I've created some amazing things. I just won a Miss Full Figure North Carolina beauty pageant, the queen, and just life is just amazing. And even though it took me this long to get here, I think everything happens in its time. And so it's for some other 50-year-olds to look and see, even in your 50s, baby, you can still get it. It's still obtainable. You can still create, maintain, and nurture it. And yes, you can still do you and do you well. And there's not an end to it. There's not an end to growth. And that excites me. It excites me that I still get to, I get to still empower people. I still get to be encouraging to people. I still get to be vulnerable and transparent with people.
Yeah. When you talk about single, being okay being single, in your 50s, that scares some people. Oh
yeah. It's scary to me. So when I tell you I have not been alone, I've not been single in my adult life, that's real talk. So having to do things, I realized sometimes I had never driven in the last 5 years, for sure 7 years, I had not driven in the dark. Because I never went out alone after dark. It was just so many different things that I didn't get to do. And so I usually take them now as an adventure. So when I get up and I decide to go to the park, I had never gone on a picnic. Doing those things for yourself. It's not that it's not scary, but it's doable. It's not tragic. I'm not going to die from it. And I'm really so comfortable with me that it makes it easier for sure. And the fact that I'm not waiting on anybody, I'm preparing. Whoever got next is going to get top notch, because I've been preparing for greatness, not waiting on greatness. Yeah. So I'm doing the work, and that's what makes it less scary. So every day you go, okay, there's another day I get to work. It's another day I get to work.
Yeah. I want you to kind of expand on that. And this is why, though. So there's a lot of females listening in the community, and that I'm searching for right now, and I will grab them sooner or later. They're coming to us.
They are.
Who are in relationships that they're not happy with, but they're so scared of being alone, and they'd rather be in this toxic. They'd rather be in this sad, monotonous roommate type relationship,
right,
leading out their last days, because they feel like 50s is their last days.
Right.
I want to grab more from you. I want more from you as far as what that means. What does it mean to be in your 50s and single? What does it look like? What could it look like? Why is there so much nervousness around it?
Mainly because I don't think people have the fear of being alone. I think people have the fear of being with themselves.
Wow.
There's a difference. I could be alone, but having to sit with myself, and to sit with myself and my insecurities and my lack of confidence and my low self-esteem and my lack of self-awareness and my inability to move without somebody asking me to move or telling me to move, and to be able to do things on my own. So I think it's less about being alone without toxic and more about being alone and having to connect with myself, because most of us have not done that. We've not done that hook that we need to do with ourselves. So we believe that hook is with our husbands or our girlfriends or our partners. We believe that hook is with our job or our children or our grandchildren. We believe that hook is with a hobby, and that hook has to come from within. It has to come from within. And is it a scary thing? Absolutely. Is it impossible? Not at all. And you have to just have the balls to be able to just do it. I tell people all the time, don't try. When somebody say they're going to try to make it to the cookout, you can give away their hot dog, they're not coming. I tell people to Nike, just do it.
Yeah.
And I tell people, you have to get here to prove me wrong. You can say, oh, no, I don't think I could do that. Oh, I'd be so scared. No, you have to get here to prove me wrong. And aren't you worth it? And think about it. You're asking somebody else to do, or asking somebody else to do, or asking from somebody something that you're not able to give yourself. And that is to be alone with you.
Wow.
To be alone with you. Because that was a very scary thing. I didn't sleep through the night for 2.5 years because there wasn't a body in the house.
Wow.
I didn't sleep all night until I got a puppy. Literally, I was literally unable to sleep throughout the night for 2.5 years because in my head, I wasn't whole unless there was somebody, you know, people say, oh, that's my better half, where I have a t-shirt to say, I am my better half. You know, that's it. That's all. But it's a very scary thing, mainly because we've been conditioned that this is the way it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
I'm going to say this to you. People that are looking for people to make them happy.
Yeah.
Need to be clear that they will never be happy until they're able to be happy with themselves.
100.
They will never be happy. You will never know complete happiness until you're able to really and truly get up knowing there's nobody next to you, to be able to pay a bill knowing that it's coming in your name, to be able to cook a full meal knowing it's just for you, being able to go to the grocery store and shop just for you, being able to put on some clothes and look bad just for you. And people say to me all the time, oh, you like you going out. I am, with me.
Yeah.
And most of us have not ever been taught to do that. We dressed up when we went outside or when we were going to somebody else's house. We never dressed up and just stayed around the house and dressed up for each other, dressed up for ourselves. We always did something for somebody else. We cleaned up the house real good when other people were coming over. Yeah. You know, we were on our best behaviors when mommy had company, those types of things. So we didn't learn to do those things for ourselves. So if you need to give yourself some grace, know that you don't know it because it wasn't taught to you and you didn't know to go look for it. But I would challenge every woman, whether you're partnered or not, whether you're married or not, there's nothing like loving you the way you want other people to love you. And this is the way I'm going to think about it. That means that no matter who takes away love from me, I am going to stay full with the love that I have for myself. And I didn't get it until I was 54, 55. My sister had to leave here. She was my stronghold. She had to leave here and she held my hand in the end as I watched her just get weaker and weaker. And I know she was transferring strength because I didn't have it. I remember her, she would say, F them. And I was like, I don't have an F you. I don't know how to do that. Wow. And you just believe, honey, I got the F, the U, and the C now. Don't let me get the K. It's going to be on. Just really and truly knowing that I have to show up for me because nobody else is coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody else is coming. And at some point, I won't need anybody else to come. No, I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy though. It's definitely not easy, and it will be probably the most difficult thing that you'll ever do. I have let me see if I have my thing. I keep my emotional wheels around. Yes. So when people call and say they're feeling fine, okay, and good, fine, okay, and good are not emotions. You can't manage anything that you can't identify. If you can't tell me that you're feeling abandoned or excited or humbled or whatever, and little things like that, especially with women. I'm trying to get people to recognize those types of things because most people don't know they're depressed because they don't know what depressed looks like because they've been that depressed all their lives.
Yep.
I didn't know that I wasn't happy in relationships. I thought, I'm out here officiating weddings for other people, some of them in the documentary, and now I'm looking back like, oh my goodness, I didn't have half of what I'm standing before them and other people saying that they had. Like, what? Me defining love. I didn't have a definition of love. So I was taking whatever people gave me.
Wow.
No, now I have a definition. It's probably about 3 or 4 pages long, and that's probably not ever going to get it. But it's what I give me. And if I'm not enough for somebody to be able to enhance what I do have, it's okay that I do it by myself. It really is.
100%. Yeah. What do you wish for?
I wish self-awareness for everybody and the willingness to make themselves better. I believe we all have room to grow.
Yeah.
And it would, even if it meant me losing a job and not ever having another client, I wish that one morning we could wake up and we could be self-aware. We could be able to manage our emotions. We could set boundaries. We can trust in a higher power, and we could love on ourselves. Those things, I think, could change the world. But people have to know that they are without. And many don't know they're without because they have nice cars and nice houses and nice boats and good friends and nice mimosas and things of that nature. And it takes sometimes it takes people having to be stripped of some things to realize that if you only had to depend on your own foundation, how much you don't have. But most people don't know that they are without until something falls.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would wish that self-awareness would be it. And I wish we could wipe out all personality disorders. That would be helpful. I mean, if I had to go big, and that people believe that mental health is real, and sometimes people aren't just being. A lot of times, I believe that people are saving themselves, and they will strike out and against anybody that comes near them, and that's real. I've dated somebody with borderline personality disorder. I've dated narcissistic, and all those things. Now I can show grace and mercy because I know where those things come from, and I know how they're bred, and I know that it wasn't personal. I would also want everybody to read The 4 Agreements. I think that's an amazing book. Not taking things personal saved my entire life, and I love the 5 love languages. I would have everybody read that too.
Yes, 5 love languages is definitely something that changed my life for sure.
Yes.
So first, I want to kind of just give a shout out real fast to those that are listening live. Thank you so much for being here, for hanging out with us while Miss Angie and I hang out and talk about her journey a little bit. For those of you watching on the replay and who have gotten to this point, make sure you hashtag replay so that we know that you were here and you were hanging out. We can send you some love.
Yes.
But Angie, I want to ask, what do you do? We have your website right above your head area. I would love to know more about what you do, who you help. What do you do for all the humans?
I love that. What do you do for all the humans? I love that. I am a growthologist. I teach grown folks how to grow up, and I do that through counseling. I do that through workshops. I do that through retreats. I do staff development trainings. Anything that involves the human spirit, I feel like I could work with. I love watching people's light bulbs go off. And so being a part of that it's something I absolutely adore. And I find, obviously, through this film, even different ways to be able to help people grow up. And I tell people anything that isn't growing is dead. And I see dead people walking every single day. Yeah. And so it's important to me to be able to get that out there. So I literally, anything that I can do to stand before people, stand with people. Let's talk. Let's together acquire lasting knowledge. I remember when I first came up with the acronym, I'm an acronym queen. And I thought to myself that was so powerful because that's what I would want to have happen. And so I'm going to be a mouth and a mirror for anybody who is open to growing with me. I'm ready to do that. And so those are the things that I do. I pretty much I've been invited to dinners to start conversations. I've been invited to bridal showers to get people to say positive things about the bride and to be able to start those kind of conversations. So I've been a conversation starter. I mean, just anything that requires storytelling, starting and stimulating conversations, things of that nature. So people have used me in some unconventional ways as well. So I work for corporations like Tiffany and Boeing and Southwest, and I've also worked for churches and colleges and things of that nature. And I've also, like I said, I've been in people's bridal shower, and I invited to an all-male retreat just to start a conversation. It's like I started the conversation and then I exited because it got a little deep. But I did what I was paid to do. I've even been at people's family tables to do just like a casual, start the conversation type of thing to get things flowing, because she didn't believe that anybody would come to therapy. And so we just kind of started the conversation that went on for 3.5 hours and had that done over dinner. And because we were eating and had dessert and those types of things, it flowed in a way that it wouldn't have flowed if I'd had them all in my office trying to, they've been trying to kill each other and whatnot. So I like to be creative with people. I want to be where people are, start where people are at with those types of things. And so
Absolutely.
some of the things that I do.
Yes.
And I'm also a writer, director, and producer. I can say that now. 3 weeks ago, I couldn't. I didn't want to say. I couldn't tell anybody I won the pageant, which was a revelation to me because that meant somebody lost, and I didn't want anybody to feel that. So I would just say I secured the crown. And my friend said, "Well, did you win?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was almost a sadness, like, "Oh yeah, I won."
Wow! Look at that.
Yep. But it happened, so I can say that now.
I love it. Yes. What are your big dreams for your life? What do you got going on? What's next?
I'm going to blow the world out of the water with this documentary. I believe it's going to be continual, which is the reason we're going to do a docuseries versus a feature, so that I can continue to do these interviews. Because like you, I believe that you're going to love. I'm going to send you the link. You're going to love the acronym I came up with. Story. I'm asking people to grow from the story. I absolutely want to just go around the world and spark some of the needed conversation, mainly around race and sexuality and things of that nature, because I think that many people believe that there are more differences than there are sameness, and that's just simply not the truth. And to have people just get honest. And I tell people all the time, I'm not looking for anybody to not believe what they believe. That you have the right to believe. If you want to wear a hood that's white and pointed, you can absolutely do that. But when you work with kids and you have to service other people, you don't get to bring that. You don't get to bring hate to work. You don't get to bring judgment to work. You don't get to bring prejudice to work. And I do a lot of work with school systems around those things. So I'm not taking away their thoughts and beliefs, but I'm letting them know they have to check some of those things. Like when you go through a detector, they won't let you take certain things in. There's certain things you shouldn't be able to take when you have to touch people. Yeah. You go do those things on your own time. You leave your hood in the car and you come teach these kids.
Yes.
Yeah. So 100. I absolutely see me being able to start some amazing conversations around the world.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fantastic. I think that there's so much in and amongst storytelling and how important it is to share your story.
Yes.
And to spread that. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been my pleasure
for being here. I so appreciate you taking some time of your day to hang out here on the Her Version platform and to take all of my questions and my digging. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you. I do want to end with a question, advice.
Just a second. I have one for you.
Okay. Oh, smile.
What has been the most powerful lesson you've learned in hearing the stories from other people?
Ooh, you know what? Hearing other people's stories has helped me heal, even more so than I already thought I had. Right. When I started bringing other people onto the platform, it was because I already felt healed. So I was like, I'm good.
Right.
I don't need to tell my story anymore. I'm good. Now let me give the stage to other ladies, you know, to share their stuff. But what has really happened, two things. One, humbled.
Yes.
Because I'm going around acting like my story's the shit.
Right.
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 I'm going around thinking that I went through hell and back and look at me shine.
Right.
And so many stories have brought me to tears.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just horrific stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't even compare. So really, really and strong. Like they tell their story as if this is what I had to do.
Right.
This is what I had to do for me. This is what I had to do for my kids. This is what I had to do for my family. And is it huge? It might be huge, but it's just what I had to do.
Yes.
And for me, it's heartbreaking. It's
right.
Like, dude.
Right.
So one, humbled, really has humbled me so much. And I'm grateful.
Yes.
Two, triggers.
Yes.
Yeah, I get triggered way less now than before. When I was first doing these, you can ask some of probably my first 20 interviews I did. I was crying like every single one. Something was triggering me somewhere along the way. Figuring that out, leaving the stage just feeling like tired and just like worn out. But working through those triggers, really working on myself of what did that? Why did that happen? What is coming up for me with that story? And really being able to be honest with myself, like, holy crap. Like even just happened with you, which that one wasn't emotional for me. But when we were talking about going to the mall, I never even thought of that. I never even thought about the time that I would waste just walking around the mall looking for a compliment. And you just set that perfectly for me. That's why I was doing that. That helped me. That helped me heal. That helped me really like understand myself even more at that point as to why I was doing that and what that meant for me, and to be able to see the growth that I've had up to this point. So yeah, it's humbled me, one, and number two has really helped me clear a lot of triggers that were still there that I didn't even know about.
Very good. Yes. I just want to know you're still growing with us.
Yes. Oh, 100. 100. Yeah.
Very good.
So my question for the audience.
Okay.
Females who are listening now live. We have 62 people listening live right now.
Wow.
Predominantly, probably all female. I want to ask you, for women who are struggling with their authentic selves, they're not living authentically. They can feel it. They're being a little fakies. Whether it's, other people's opinions, not wanting to hurt mom and dad's feelings, feeling trapped. What's some words of advice that you could give to them to really kind of hit their heart a little bit?
I think I'm going to go back to what I said earlier, and that is to give some thought to what they believe being authentic is, and then really and truly being able to build a road on how to get there and what that looks like. Because again, a lot of times people being authentic, it means speaking truth. It could mean saying no. It could be a whole lot of things. And I'm going to also ask you, I'm going to give everybody homework. Define self-love, self-awareness, and self-esteem and self-control for yourself. Use those things as benchmarks for what you would want to achieve, and work on those things a little bit every single day by your definition and what that is. And to continue to dream big. I want you to define those things and then grow do it. Do it. Don't try. Don't not have time. Give to you what you give to others.
Absolutely.
Give to you what you give to others, and give to yourself what you want from others.
Give to yourself. Ooh.
I wanted people to love me. I wanted people to respect me. I wanted people to acknowledge me. And I wasn't doing any of those things for myself.
Wow. Yes. 100.
Yes.
100.
I'm going to come back to all 65 of you all and check your homework. So you need to have your homework together.
I love it. This has been fantastic. I so appreciate you. For those of you that are resonating with what Angie is putting down here, make sure you check out her social or her website here, angieharveyspeaks.com. I'm assuming
social media on IG and Facebook. I'm at Angie Harvey Speaks on both of those as well.
Beautiful.
And I'm reachable. So if you reach out, I reach back. I get about 40 to 50 inboxes a day, and I respond to every single one of them.
I love it. So reach out, connect. Obviously, you can tell she's everything. So,
in a bag of chips, boo, with no hair. What?
So, having individuals like this in your feed, even in your social media feed, is just the things that really help you taking those baby steps forward. So even if it's not necessarily like, hey, I can't commit to all of this, having the insight and the education that she is bringing to you here is so important to have hitting you in the face every day on social media, in and amongst all the other garbage that's hitting us in the face.
Right.
We want to make sure that we're connecting with individuals like Angie who are shedding light on our emotional and our mental health, for sure.
You have to have me back on so we can talk about why I don't have any hair, because it has nothing to do with me not being able to grow hair. I'll leave it there.
For next time.
Yes.
The cliffhanger proceeds. I would love to have you on again, for sure. Yes. I would love to have you on again.
I appreciate everybody that showed up and everybody that will watch this. Yes.
So thank you so much for joining us here on Her Version. This community is expanding every single day and is filled with with females who are striving to do better than they did yesterday. Yes. For those of you that are new to this podcast and like content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button, follow, like, and share. If you have a story to share, make sure you reach out to me. I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I'm so grateful to be here sharing a platform that allows people to share their truth and